So let me just touch on this quarterback controversy that a lot of people really want to make it out to be a controversy. Will Carson Wentz start week one? Will Nick Foles start week one? Nick Foles is washed up. Look how he's playing in the preseason. Yada, yada, yada. The way I look at it is, to me it's obvious. I would think that people would just obviously know that Carson Wentz is the man. Carson Wentz is the future of this team. He's the quarterback of now. He's the quarterback of the next 10 years. So nobody is unappreciative. Let me just say, nobody is unappreciative of what Nick Foles did for this city. So don't get that misunderstood, okay? Nick Foles will go down in Philadelphia sports history regardless of how he plays in the preseason. And like I said in the last video that I made, preseason don't matter for nothing. Nobody remembers preseason. Nobody. So I'm fine if Wentz does not start week one because we have Nick Foles. If we didn't have Nick Foles backing him up, I might be a little more worried or hesitant, and whatever the case. But I don't want to turn this in a RG3 Washington Redskins type of situation, kind of, in the sense that you throw Wentz back out there in week one, and he's not 100% ready to go, and he gets hurt and makes it worse for himself, and then his career might go down in stock a whole lot, man. So I'm fine because we have Nick Foles. I am fine with Carson Wentz not playing week one if that is the case. Now, I would really take my time with him coming back, honestly. I think worst case scenario, he might be gone out or whatever for 2 or 3 weeks max, and then he'll be back. But from most of everything that I'm hearing, it sounds like Carson Wentz is ready to go now. But I don't want to risk him in the preseason. So if he does get the week one start, Carson Wentz, I'm not gonna right out the gate. I'm not gonna expect him to be slinging in an MVP status because he has had limited reps during the entire preseason and offseason. He hasn't been in a game since the LA Rams game last year. So I do expect him to start off maybe a little shaky, a little rusty, but he'll gradually just grow back into game mode, man. That MVP status. And I really don't think it'll take that long for him to do that. So it is, man. It is what it is. Now if Nick Foles does get the start, I do think he'll be fine. I'm not worried about the preseason performance because it's preseason. You're not going out there with a game plan. You're not going out there, not even really with all of your starters. So you don't have a game plan. Plus, the first team, man. They're just trying to knock rust off the wheel, man. They're just trying to get things going again. They're starting to rebuild that chemistry, which, again, it shouldn't take long because they are all familiar with each other for the most part, with the exception of the new guys. But it's not going to be a big deal. I really don't believe that it will be a big deal for this team. This team knows what it takes to win. Just flat out. They know what it takes to win. And I don't see any reason to believe otherwise. I just don't. So that's my thought on the whole thing. Nate Sudfeld, I know the Eagles are pretty high on him. They believe that he can be a starting caliber quarterback in the league. I think he's a very solid quarterback, but from my personal perspective, I just haven't seen enough from him to make that judgment on him being on that level. Now, the coaching staff and everybody, they're there on a daily basis with him, practice. I mean, so obviously with any player and any situation, the team knows better than any of us do. But yeah, Nate Sudfeld, I think what could happen with him is he could be potential trade bait at some point. Have his stock rise, and get something in return for him, which I wouldn't be opposed to that. Depends on what happens with Nick Foles at the end of the season with the contract situation. Will he be a free agent? Will he still want to come back again? Or retire? I don't know. I don't know if I don't think he's done yet. So, it'll be interesting. I'll tell you what. We have no reason to complain about our quarterback situation as a whole at all. We have an MVP caliber quarterback for the long term, for our future. We have a current Super Bowl MVP quarterback as a backup, and then a perennial starting caliber quarterback as our third string quarterback. So the quarterback situation is great. The best I can ever remember for the Eagles, definitely. We can always look back through the years. Oh, if Michael Vick went down, I'd be a little worried. So is in the backup position. Oh, if McNabb goes down, it's always suspect. But right now, we are practically in the perfect situation at quarterback. So, anyway, with that being said, if Wentz has to sit out the first game, it just hit me. The big positive to week 1 is we play on Thursday night, so we have a few extra days in between week 1 and 2. So that is another plus for Carson Wentz. But yeah, if he has to sit out the first game, maybe the second game, I am fine with that. I really am. We open up at home against Atlanta, then we're on the road at Tampa. So 2 winnable games. Atlanta's going to be tough, but 2 winnable games definitely. So we'll see if we can get out the gates 2-0. If Foles starts both of those games, what can we say, man? We can't complain. So anyway, man, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I can't wait to get this Jets preseason game out of the way, man, and then we can just focus on real, legitimate football that counts. So, man, we're not far. Next week, then the world can see that Super Bowl champion banner in Philly. All right, man, I'm done. Peace.